We expect you back in a few minutes. Later, we have Massimo Cultura, number 6 in the world. Manuel Ross, Christian, the Lawrence Degree, the University of Ghent, and Dr. Bruno and Alex Atata.
See you tomorrow.
So, chef, what is your feeling, chef, to see a piece alive like this?
It's very emotional. I saw some people, you know, with very bright eyes. It was like, oh no, another core alive on the stage near the cutting meat. But the message was, without this kind of people, without Hendrix, who's taking care of the variety of cow, who's start to disappear now, we are gonna have nothing to put in our machine without this. Nothing.
So hi, Mr. Jack O'Shea.
Hello, Bruno.
So, tell me more about meat.
So, what do you want to know and where would I start?
Anything.
Because it's a subject that I couldn't stop talking about.
I'm ready for.
Yeah, absolutely. As we had said briefly today at Flemish Primitives, that first of all, there's no such thing as the best meat. You know, we saw the beautiful red cow of Flanders. You know, Belgium often gets bad press with Blau, but it still can be very good as well, properly cooked, and it everywhere has a purpose and a terroir, as Hendrik said out there, just like wines. So we try and give our customers what they want is the most important thing. And thankfully in Brussels, as you know, I have a very international clientele, a lot of Belgians as well, of course, but we have people from all over Europe and all over the world. And so that was a great training ground for me, because I learned listening to people what their expectations were with meat, and whether it's, you know, the Americans are used to corn-fed beef, which is very bad incidentally, but it has sweeter fat, and you know, so they wouldn't appreciate very old-fashioned yellow fat off of grass and overaged meat. It's just not saleable for every market. So it's like we said, if you had 15 children in a family, they would all have different characters and everything as well. So you have to use different parts of the beef in different ways. So whether it's a flank steak, or is there gelatine in it, is there not gelatine in it, the jarret, you know, and the butcher, I believe, needs to know all these things and where the physiology of the animal, and understanding why it's important to remove that muscle from that one. And you know, I'd come from a very old-fashioned cutting technique in Ireland, which, you know, we incorrectly cut across muscles. And you know, you might have 4 or 5 or sometimes 6 muscles in the same primal joint, and it's just, you cannot cook them in the same way. But of course in Ireland we didn't know how to cook historically, not like in Belgium. So I really learned a lot of this magic in Brussels, and dealing with, you know, great chefs here in Brussels, and chefs who've become great friends, and always discussing and always pushing the barrier and investigating and asking why all the time. And so I have a lot to thank this country for, everything. And now that I've gone back to London, or I have gone to London with my big butcher shop over there, I brought all the Belgian techniques to the UK. So we find that we're educating a lot of butchers over there, and you know, on pieces of meat like bavette and onglet, you see in many of the central London restaurants now, and that's a very, very Belgo-French type cut of meat. And we teach people how to cook them, we do demonstrations and all those things all the time. So we're getting more value into the carcass and taking the pressure off the contre filet, which is until the day, Bruno, they breed a cow or a contre filet with 4 legs, we need to start looking at, you know, other ways of using and appreciating and making
the different pieces of the
yeah.
beef. What is your point of view about the campaign against the meat? That, you know, there is a book coming from the States showing that the people, they should not eat meat and so. How you manage with that to show that meat is important in huge quality, but not for mass quality?
The problem with America is it's such a vast and huge country. You know, for example, they need 9 billion chickens a year just to feed themselves. You cannot do poulet breasts for 9 billion people, or even la belle rouge, poulet patte noire. You cannot do that. So there's certainly a point. And on the subject of American meat, you know, their quest for tenderness that, you know, produces, you know, all this corn-fed beef. It's totally wrong. Exclusively corn-fed. You know, I also sell American beef in London, but you know, there's just enough corn so that and then there's alfalfa and other grains and cereals on top, so that their system can handle it. I mean, a cow is a grass-eating machine, and so you cannot stick him in and feed him on antibiotics and, you know, proteins that he doesn't want to produce tender flesh. I mean, you were a great fan of meat, Bruno, and you understand it's not always about the tenderness. Sometimes I like a piece of a chew. That's what God gave us teeth for. And you must work with the meat, and it's not the fault of the beast, it's maybe the fault of cooking techniques. Sometimes I've found out, you know, customers bring back some stove fleece or carbonate to the shop and they say, oh Jack, it was tough. And you say, well madam, how long did you cook it for? And you investigate, you find she had it in the pot for a half an hour, there's gelatin in there, blah blah blah, all those factors. So I think going back to your original question, I think meat is very good for you. It's very good for my system. Blood group O, I can eat as much meat as I want. In fact, I eat meat every day, but I have a great balance. A bit of red wine for the heart, as we learned in France, and lots of exercise. And you know, next week it's going to be coffee that's going to kill you, or you know, it'll be cornflakes. You know, there'll be a book out on that. So I don't tend to listen to these people. My grandfather died when he was 100 years of age. He ate meat maybe 3 times a day and drank loads of whiskey, and you know, did lots of physical exercise out in the fields, at home on the farm. And you know, you can have that balance. But a lot of Americans, as we know, sit around the house all day with the TV on, and they eat all the wrong things. And so in that case, I'd say
it's not a good balance.
It's not a good balance. No.
Okay.
It's all about balance.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Great, Bruno.
Thank you.